Hello, my friends. This is Christy Shell. I am talking to you from my backyard, and I'm hoping this works. Last week we had all kinds of technical difficulties. Please let me know if you can hear me, if anybody is on when you come on. This morning, this is Coffee with Christy, and I am going to talk today about the signs that you might be a drama mama. Now, this is a crazy thing, but what is important here is that so many of us slip into the idea of being a drama mama, and we could call them a drama queen, we could call them super emotional, we can call them whatever, but we all have slipped into this, and some of us live there more than others. And here's why it's an issue or a problem. We create more angst than we really need, and we lose credibility, and we lose our ability to influence people because people get worn out by the drama, and you get worn out from the drama. So today I wanted to talk about what a drama mama is and how you might know if you are one, and then we're going to do 2 sessions after this about how to kind of alleviate the drama mama that may kind of creep in on you every once in a while. So why is it important? So what happens is oftentimes, or 99% of the time, drama that we create in our lives that's not really needed or necessary comes because we are insecure, okay? And we want to be important, and we want to be valued, and we want to be seen, and and in that need we create the thing we don't want, okay? So when we're the drama queen, or we bring drama to a situation, it might be more fun in the beginning, it might be more interesting in the beginning, but what happens is that people feel very erratic in your emotions, and so it's really, we're creating drama where it may not have to be. And the opposite of drama is kind of being grounded or self-assured, so that you don't have to create all that attention on you, okay? And so really understanding that that comes from a level of insecurity, and what happens is whatever we think, we create, okay? So if we're insecure, eventually people are going to react to us in a way that assures our insecurity, okay? So instead of bringing self-assuredness and people coming from that place of being confident in us as we are confident in ourselves, we create that aspect when we're more calm and more grounded and more sensible, really, in the level of emotion that we bring to a situation. So really thinking about this, it's kind of counterintuitive, right? We think we bring drama, and that gets us attention, and that gets us value. But what really happens is we bring drama, people are interested right away, and then they get very interested. And what happens is that then people start to distrust us because we're bringing the drama or falsity or over dramatic aspects of a situation, and then they don't trust us anymore, and it dissolves very quickly. So really to understand and kind of bring this in, okay, to yourself. So here's some signs that you might be a drama mama. Now, we all slip into them sometimes, so you're probably gonna put a couple of checks there, so don't be afraid to bring that in. So I get easily offended, okay? When someone says something to you, you instantly go to be in defense that it's an insult to you, okay? And so this is a big one because it just shows that level of insecurity, okay? And so to really think about, why am I insecure at this point? Why does that offend me? Because offending is a decision. We'll talk more about that in the subsequent ones, but understanding, am I easily defended? Hi, Jennifer, how are you? Good morning, good morning. The next one, though, is hey, Jennifer, let me know if you can hear me. The next one is, do I go to negative right away? So any situation, do I go to the negative thought about it? Do I go to the negative kind of interpretation of any event that happens? This happens a lot, where people go, their car won't start, and then they're talking about what an idiot they are, but then they're blaming their husband, and then it spirals into this whole thing. Good. Oh, thanks, Jennifer. Thanks. And so to think about am I going to negative right away? Okay, so am I offended easily? Do I go to negative right away? The third one is to really think about, am I more dramatic or animated or emotional than the situation calls for? Okay, so, if your car breaks down, you can be like, blah, and like have a whole meltdown about it. Or you're like, oh, my car broke down. I should have got my oil changed last week. Like, it's not like the sky is falling when something natural just happens, right? And so it's really important to kind of notice if you're being over dramatic than a situation calls for. And how do we get back to calm, and how do we get back to reasonable thinking in order to do that? The next one is do you want to fight about everything? So we have a lot of people that believe they have to fight for what they want, okay? It's very much the Viking mentality. I'm going to take it because I can. In order to get things, I have to fight for it. And what happens is this creates this dominant behavior, and now we become really dramatic around it, okay? So and I'm being very dramatic today, actually, so whatever. But, and it's true, right? It's more interesting to be dramatic, right? It's more interesting to do all those things. So do I fight for what I want in a way that's very aggressive, okay? And very like, I deserve this type of mentality, okay? This is a very drama mama move on most people's part. On the other side of that, am I very self-righteous, right? Who are they to think that they can do this, right? This very self-righteousness that we go into, and that we think about, this is funny because this happens with our perfectionists, right? And this is a little more introverted. So it may not come out of your mouth, but it's in your thoughts, right? You're thinking, I can't believe they did that. And it's this very self-righteousness. And that is a level of drama, even though it's not a physically dramatic kind of act. Inside of your head you're creating drama because it's this very self-righteous piety actually kind of thing. You talk about people, okay? And not in a way that's like, I'm trying to figure out what's going on here, but we create a story that people have ill intent, okay? And that, they are trying to take something from me, or they are trying to put power over me or whatever. But we talk about people, and this ill intent aspect is where it becomes dramatic. Everyone, 90% of the time, has a very good intention. Even in our drama mama, we have a good intention of what we're doing, or we're just not thinking and we're just going to action, okay? But when we start to make up stories in our head, or even worse, when we put them out into the world and we share those, we are really creating drama, and sometimes conflict that doesn't even have to be there. So really to think about that piece of it, okay? The next one is, do I blame and complain? This is our easiest one. We have a lot of people who go to blame, and a lot of people who go to, complaining and that kind of thing. When sometimes things are just as they are, right? And sometimes like actions happen and we want to do a lot of finger pointing instead of going, okay, this is what it is, right? And we get stuck in what we think should be happening and that kind of thing. And we love to blame other people. And if you haven't heard me say this before, it's a very camp thing that we used to teach, is like, when I point my finger at you, I'm pointing 3 fingers back at myself. So when I'm often blaming or complaining about somebody, I am actually often more the culprit even than that person. So we even call it in coaching, if you spot it, you got it, right? And so there's a tell there that you need to work on or think about, because you're displacing, really the psychology aspect of that is you're displacing your stuff on them, okay? So this is super dramatic because now you're pulling people into your stuff, and it's really important that we can disconnect from what we think other people need and what we're needing, okay? So to improve themselves or whatever. So blame and complain. goes back to the same kind of idea, but it's always the other person's fault. I'm never going to have self-ownership, so I never own my stuff, right? So this is the blame and complain concept, but just a little bit deeper is to think about, am I always putting stuff, blaming other people, or it's always that person's fault, okay? The next one is, I love this one because I really do think drama comes from this place. We're bored, right? And so when we're bored, if we create a story, if we create a little drama, we don't know what else to talk about, we make up things, or we exaggerate a story or whatever. We are putting other people at risk. So the idea of being bored is like, I'm going to create drama so I'm not bored. And people kind of live on this idea. This is what, like following your local celebrities and the news and kind of the celebrityness is like, because we're bored, and so we will thrive on their drama, and we kind of become addicted to it, right? And so our life is boring, so we're gonna invent and think about drama in other people's lives, right? And instead of thinking, wow, people go through hard things, and being more in that empathetic space, we're like, holy cow, can you believe this? And so good morning, Mason. So to think about, where are you maybe bored and you're creating drama? Now, we have lots of cures for boredom. We'll talk about those in subsequent, in the next episodes as we come forward with our next two, like how do we come out of it? But the last one that I have is, and I indicated a little bit, is that we lie or stretch the truth, or we exaggerate. So we're telling a story, but the story gets a little bit bigger, and the fish gets a little bit larger, and she did this to me and this to me, and then we're creating this story or this drama that is happening, and we exaggerate our story. So I do that sometimes, and I have to call myself on it, and I'll be like, no, there were 20 people there, and they were all doing this. And I'm like, oh no, there were 10 people there. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and they weren't doing so much of that. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I have to pull the story back because I'm naturally extroverted and want to be a little more dramatic. And I have to pull this in for myself sometimes, okay? So understand, anything about that is about wanting to be a little bit more important, okay? Or to get ourselves out, to be interesting, or to be seen, and that kind of thing. So it's important not to get to this point where we're so insecure that we're creating that we have more self-assurance and self-confidence, not in an arrogant way, but we have just confidence that I don't have to be big and seen and all that kind of stuff in order to get people's attention, right? And care and that kind of thing. And when we get to that dramatic place, we create all kinds of problems in relationships with people, okay? And in conflict that doesn't have to be happening, okay? So one of the things is 2 quick, like, overall things. Notice where your insecurities are getting triggered, right? Where you're getting offended, where people might be sharing something. There's an indicator of something you need to think about or learn there. We've talked about that many times, but kind of knowing, wow, why did I react so much, right? And like then kind of digging in to help heal that, okay? The other one is the other little trick I'll tell you is that really have to go to what's right in this situation, or to empathy for the person I'm talking about. Wow, when we tell a story about something we saw on the street, or whatever, put ourselves in their shoes. It's just love thy neighbor and understand that everyone has heartache and bad things. So when somebody does something and then you blow it up and make it bigger and bigger, you're adding to their pain, okay? You're adding insult to like that injury. And so what happens is can you go to empathy and more care for that person? And that starts to ground you, like, I have problems, they have problems. I would hate for somebody to do this to me, so I'm going to back out of that and not be like that for them. But if you're feeling insecure and you're feeling self-righteous, oftentimes you're going to tear somebody down for how ridiculous or whatever you think that they did. So understand that when you're the drama mama, you are creating drama. And people like that in the beginning, but it doesn't sustain, okay? It doesn't sustain a relationships. It actually dissolves your credibility and your trust from others because they also don't feel secure around you, okay? So take this advice, think about this. In our next 2 episodes, we'll give more tips and tricks about how to stay out of the drama mama space and really think about how to grow your self-assuredness and really think about what you want life to be, okay, and how you can really come to life in a different way. All right, let me tell you, we have some things coming up. On August 4th, we have a free webinar for parents and students, our high school and college age people, and it's called 6 Surprising Reasons Your Child Might Not Be Able to Find Their Ideal Career. So that's going to be a free webinar. We're actually posting that this weekend and starting to advertise that for the next few weeks. That's completely free. Please tell friends. Please do that. We're doing a Zoom live webinar call to talk about or to help parents and students who seem really stuck in not being able to find their place in the world and move forward. So please share that. So that's August 4th. Look for that. I will talk about it next week, but also to look for that in the ads and the things that we're putting out in the next few days. And then we're looking at doing a more a workshop later in August about self-esteem, so, and self-confidence. So kind of in the line of what we're talking about, but we're going to go deeper and do some more workshop type things. So there's 2 things coming up, August 4th for students and mid-August for the self-esteem and self-confidence work. So this is Christy Shell with Zeal Coaching. Thanks for joining me today. Think about and reflect on where you're going into drama mama mode, and I will see you next Friday with more info about that. Hope you have a great weekend. Thanks.